I've got the giggles, I'm sorry. Welcome to...
You can't take them anyway. You just can't get the staff these days.
Welcome to Tidy Ventures and Find Out Friday.
Well done.
Find Out Friday.
It's a mouthful and a half, that is.
I know. This is where we answer your questions that you've posted on in our Facebook group, okay? So every Friday, we answer the 3 questions. So the first question, why am I laughing?
You started me off now.
So the first question is from Chloe, okay? And how much do I need to get started? You can answer this one.
So how much money do I need to get started?
Yeah, investing in property.
So deep breaths, compose ourselves now, children. You can tell we're really mature. So this one varies. I had about 25 grand when I started. However, I ran out of money and it wasn't enough. I think a lot of people think that they can maybe get started without much money, which is great. Like, there are strategies that you can actually purchase a house without needing all the cash. But if you're doing your typical buy-to-lets and your flips, I would say a good pot is about 40 odd grand plus, really.
Yeah.
That doesn't need to be all cash. You could have credit cards that you can put some of the refurb on and things, but you're probably going to need between 25 and 30% deposit. So if you're buying a house of 60 grand, that's like 18 grand, which is the 30%. So that normally covers then your fees. You've got other fees, your legals, your land transaction tax. You've got your solicitors. I've said solicitors, haven't I? So your mortgage. If you get in a property from a sourcing agent, you'll have them fees as well. So 30 to 35% for fees and deposit is a good idea. Like a good rough.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, like a rough amount.
Yeah.
But then your refurb, then that depends. It depends on your strategy. If you're just doing something basic and just a lick of paint and you're spending 5 grand, then you only need to add 5 grand on it. If you're doing a full refurb, going on what we said last week, where it's like 15, 25 and 35 grand, you're going to need that on top of your 30, 35%. So that's a rough guide, but anywhere between, for what we do anyway with our strategies for buying houses, refurbish them, add in value, then refinancing, or add in value and then selling, we need about 15, 60 grand, don't we? Because we tend to spend a little bit more on the refurbs to really maximize the profit, but obviously you haven't got to spend that much money. So yeah, hope that helps. But like I said, there are other strategies where you can buy a house from as little as £1. So I haven't managed to do that quite yet. But they've always been a little bit more because the vendors want a little bit of extra money. But in theory, you can do that as well. So it depends on your strategy. But for us, between 50 and 60 grand.
Yeah. And then we got Paul from Mountain Ash. What does he ask? How long does it take?
Yeah, we get asked this all the time, don't we? Like, what's the process? How long? Well, again, this varies. It depends how you're buying. If you're buying with a bridge, it can be quicker. If you're buying with a mortgage, it tends to be longer. So searches take about 4 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks on average.
I'll let you answer this one.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I mean, on average 4 or 5 weeks for the solicitors, get all the information, get the contracts from the sellers and so on. Searches take about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And then, as long as you've got your finance in place, whether it's a bridge, mortgage or cash, maybe a week or 2 after those searches are all checked by your solicitor, you should be able to complete. Sometimes, there are delays, normally caused by solicitors, to be honest with you. No offense to some solicitors, but they're very busy. So sometimes, my advice is keep on top of it. Keep phoning, keep nagging, and you should get it done sooner rather than later. Whoop, we're close there. We got something coming up on the screen. Sorry about that. So on average, maybe 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, so bear that in mind, when you're working out your strategies and so on.
And then refurb then, usually about 12 weeks. So roughly 12 weeks for a refurb. And then if you're selling it, if you're renting it, brilliant. You can get a tenant in like within the week, really. We've been lucky, haven't we, that we've started advertising before they're fully finished and we get tenants pretty much straight away. Yeah. If you're selling, then it might take, again, we've been lucky, we've sold houses quite quickly, but it might take a month to actually sell. and then they've got to go through the process. And because they're not an investor, that tends to take a little bit longer. So between 2 and 3 months it takes.
It also depends on the time of year as well, because, you know, sales just before Christmas, for example, will dip. You know, people aren't really thinking about maybe buying houses. So again, that's another factor to bear in mind when you're working out or planning, you know, when to buy and refurbish a property ready to sell. So again, something to think about, but we can talk about that another time. So yeah.
But roughly 2 months to buy, 3 months to refurb, and then another maybe 3 months to actually sell. So my last flip, within 6.5 months, I had bought it, renovated it, and sold it, and it's completed, and they had the keys. Yeah. But that was that was quite a quick one. So, yeah.
And then we got one more question from Helen. Helen is from Tonopandi. All right. Okay. Do I purchase with cash, via mortgage, or bridging loan? Now, you're the expert on this one.
Well, we tend to use bridging quite a lot. I used to try to buy with mortgages, but then I had mortgages declined or lenders making me jump through all sorts of hoops and pay for extra surveys, stamp surveys, get them builders quotes, get this, get that, and then to turn around to me and say, oh, sorry, the property's not for us. And then I'm massively pissed off the agent, like I'd lost money because obviously I had to pay for all this stuff. And then because we buy quite rundown houses, we just tend to put a bridge on it now. We don't use actual cash really because
we make it instead.
Because we can buy, if you don't need all the money in cash, we can buy a lot more then by using that same pot of money and just using them as deposits instead. So we tend to, even if we've got the actual cash, put a bridge on it, obviously if the figures work, but our deals, we make sure there's enough profit in there to pay the bridge in, all the fees and all this, and still be happy with the outcome. If it wasn't, then that might be different. But if they are rundown houses, we buy on a bridge, we do the work, then we either put a mortgage on it then, once we rent them out, so it tends to be buy-to-let interest only, and if not, then we sell and we pay the bridging people back. But after getting stung and losing deals because the mortgages were taking too long, I don't tend to go down that route now for the rundown houses.
No.
So hope that helps.
Yeah, so there we are. There's this week's Find Out Friday. Is it Find Out Friday?
It is Find Out Friday.
So yeah, I mean, you know, if you enjoyed the this session, by all means, you know, subscribe to our Facebook group, and you can ask questions, more questions if you like, or you can subscribe to our email list, and we'll send you these videos and notifications of lots of other useful information as and when we film it and release it. So yeah, until next time, guys. Ciao for now.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.